LimSup or LimInf के concept पर based there are what are the previous year questions asked in CSIR NET. So we are discussing them today. Na? So first of such question was asked in June 2011 and it was a part C question, means more than one options can be correct. So if xn and yn are sequences of real numbers, which of the following is true? Now there are four rules. Now it is a direct rule we have already discussed in the video. So if you just seen the video, this is the direct rule. We just learn this formula, and if you know that, you will know that this thing supremum is less than and infimum greater than. These two formulas are true. This is a direct question. If you know, you will get just 4.75 marks. Otherwise, keep thinking. Yeah? So that's why this 1 and 4 options are correct. 2 or 3 are incorrect. Now there was a question in June 2013. Again, it was a part C question. It says that this chi, this chi, some people say chi, some people say chi, the spelling CHI. So you just decide what you want to say. So this tends to 0, 1, R to 0, 1, and the values of R, this sequence are equals to 0 when they don't belong to the function, and it is equals to 1 when the input belongs to this given an. Okay. Now gx is defined as supremum of this thing and hx is defined as infimum of this thing. Now some things are given about gx and fx. So what are those? It says if gx means the supremum and infimum both are equal to 1, then there exists m such that for all n greater than m, we have x tends to n. So what does this mean? So if infimum of something is equals to supremum of something, it means the thing again it is equal, the value of that thing will be, it will be equals to 1 for infinitely many numbers, and after some m, if the lim inf and lim sup are equal to something, then the values of the sequence will be the same, the value for infinitely many terms. So that's why if it is equals to 1, then there exists m such that x belongs to a and x belongs to n means this sequence means it is equals to 1. So this, both of these things are same, hence this option 1 is correct. Now by the same formula you can also think of question option 4. Here it is equals to 0 and again is the same statement. Now it is showing x naught belongs to an, means it is talking about this option, which means it is 0. So now you can see they are saying the same thing. So option 1 and 4 are correct. Now let's see others. Now here it is saying gx is equals to 1 means the supremum is 1, limsup is 1, and hx is 0 means liminf is 0. Then there exists m such that for all n greater than m, we have x belongs to an. Now if the supreme limsup is 1 and the liminf is 0, what does that mean? Means there will be some there will be a subsequence which converges to 1, there will be a subsequence which converges to 0. It means this, but it is saying that there exists m such that for all n greater than m, x belongs to m, means for there will be infinitely many terms for which it will be equals to 1. After m, all the terms will be equal to 1, which is not necessary, because supremum is 1 but the infimum is not same. So this option goes incorrect. Now it says if gx is 1 means limsup is 1 and hx is 0 means liminf is 0, then there exists a sequence n1, n2, n of distinct integers such that x belongs to a and k. As I say, if the supremum is 1 and the infimum is 0, then there will be a subsequence which converges to 1 and there will be a subsequence which converges to 0. Means there will be a subsequence which converges to 1, means for some values, for some values of k, if you just separate the some subsequence, and for this k, for this new subsequence, it will converge to 1. Converging 1 means x belongs to a and k, here x belongs to a and k. So it is true. So that's why option C goes true here. Now next, if we see that there was a question in December 2016, again part C question it was. So it is saying fx equals to sin x multiplied by sin 1 by x, where x belongs to 0, 1. So now which one of these is true? Now you can say we know that we know about sin x, है ना? So as x we know that as x tends to 0, it goes to 0, है ना? Because it is talking about x tends to 0, x tends to 0 everywhere. So if x tends to 0, sine goes to 0. So and sine 1 by x is bounded. So it tells me that limit x tends to 0 for this whole thing, sine 1 by x, it tends to 0. Now the limit of this function tends to 0, which says the LimSup is equals to LimInf, and which is equals to 0. So by this theorem we can say the first thing is correct because it is saying LimSup and LimInf are equal. Second says LimInf is less than LimSup, so which is incorrect. Now the third, it says LimInf is equals to 1. No, it is equals to 0. So third option is incorrect. Fourth option, it says LimSup is equals to 0, which is correct. So option 4 is correct. So option 1 and option 4 are correct in here. Now there was a question in June 17, part B, means only one option is correct. Now if an is given like this and it is asking about LimSup and LimInf, so you can see it is minus 1 to the power n. So if an will behave different, it will behave like 1 upon n to the power n when n is even, because it will be minus 1 to the power n, so it will be positive. And the sequence an will behave like 1 minus to the power n when n is odd. Now it tends to e as n tends to infinity, and it tends to 1 upon e as n tends to infinity. So this will give you the LimSup and this will give you the LimInf. Now based on this information, see which options are correct and which options are not correct. So it says LimSup and LimInf are both are equals to 1, so it is incorrect. It says LimSup and LimInf both are equals to e. No, both are not equals to e. One is e and one is 1 upon e, so it is also incorrect. It says LimSup and LimInf both are equals to 1 upon e, so it is also incorrect. This says LimSup is e and LimInf is 1 upon e, which is the thing which we got. So option 4 is correct here. Next question was in December 2017. It was a part C question. More than one options can be correct. Now AMN is a sequence where AM is greater than equals to 1 and n is also greater than equal to 1. Be a double array of real numbers and define these things are defined. So it is checking P is less than equal to Q or not. So let's check. P less than Q equals to means limit inf of AMN. It is should be less than equals to, according to the first option, LimInf of LimSup of AMN. So if you just see, first of all we will find this thing na, LimSup and LimInf, and then after this we will find the second level. So you can see the second level is same, LimInf. So it will do the same operation for these things. So now you can see we know that LimInf of anything is less than LimSup, so we know that LimInf is always less than equal to LimSup. So if you both of side you just find LimInf of the final thing, so the inequality will remain same. So that's why first option is correct. Same thing is happening in the third option. You can see it is R. So we know that, first of all I am doing the third option first. We know that LimInf of AMN is less than equal to LimSup of AMN. It is true always. So for this inequality, if both sides you just take the LimSup, so the inequality remains the same. So that's why option 3 also goes correct. Now what about option 2? It says LimInf of, I am doing option 2 here. Q is less than equals to R means LimInf of LimSup of AMN. It should be less than equals to LimSup of LimInf of A. Now you can see, first of all you will find the LimSup, and here you are finding the LimInf. Means if I am just saying these are all the AMN, by this correct I am telling these are all LimSup, है ना? And by this cross I am representing all the LimInf, all of them. Now all of this, among all of this LimSup, I just take the least, means the LimInf of LimSup, है ना? And after this all LimInf I am taking the highest one, means the LimSup of all the LimInfs. Now you can see which one is greater. This one is greater na, so this should be like this. This is greater and this is smaller. So this option is incorrect. So option 2 is incorrect. Now about the PS. P is LimInf of LimInfs. So this thing is P, means LimInf of LimInfs. And S is LimSup of LimSup. All of these are LimSups and this is S, means this is LimSup of all the LimSup. So you can say S is greater than equals to P from here. So that's why option 4 is also correct.